not on the power strip.
I'm sorry, babe.
Could you aim that way? Well, the gear is plugged up, so if you do hit that like that and it all shuts down.
Okay, we're
then
good.
it's gonna all shut down. So stressful every time we do it. Every fucking time. You act like I can't see you on this monitor making fun of me, right? All right.
Oh wait, let me do it. Let me do it. You ready? Welcome to another episode.
We haven't started.
Oh.
We have not started. Is everything good?
We're recording.
Do I look good?
You look great.
Average at best. All right.
You're gonna pay for that later.
Oh, booger check. Is it? Check mine.
You good? Who mine?
I don't see nothing
Good?
in yours.
Oh yeah. Teeth.
Good. I think you're good.
Lipstick's good. Not smeared anyway.
It don't look smeared. And don't look smeared on that cam. We back.
We back.
We are back.
We are back.
We back. Another episode of Deaf and Dope.
Deaf and Dope.
This week, we are going to be discussing your diet adventures.
Oh yeah.
You just had
90 days.
90-day challenge. It was pretty dope. I think so. Stressful, but dope. But this week, we was going to talk about just health and fitness and tell you about this 90-day challenge that she did, but also talk about how it affected us and our relationship.
Oh yeah.
So where do we start? So tell me first and foremost, let's start with how did you decide to get into this 90-day challenge thing? What was the motivation for it?
Well, I think I was sitting at work and there's just been a lot of stuff coming across my Facebook feed and friends doing different styles of what I don't like to use the word diet.
Right.
I don't think it's a healthy word. I like to use like nutrition plan or nutritional strategies, those types of terms. I think diet kind of has a negative connotation with it.
It does.
And an unhealthy one too.
It does, for sure.
But I was just sitting there, I was like, man, there's all these different things that people are doing now. And the 5 that I chose to do was Whole30, keto, pescatarian, vegetarian, and vegan. And I have different athletes and clients that eat certain ways, and I kind of wanted to get a better idea of how to navigate all those different things and get a little bit of, firsthand experience so I could help them better.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to do it.
So that was your motivation.
Yeah.
Basically what that means to me is that you was on the internet and you was reading stuff again. And you was like, I should do something because I'm bored. And you did it. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
You got bored again and was on the internet. But that's cool. I mean, that sounds really tough, though. So you went through 5 separate diets. Let's go through each one by one.
Okay.
And talk about it. And I'm going to tell you what I think.
Yeah.
I'm no health and fitness guru, but I be working out and eating healthy.
You're a little swell up.
Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Shoulders looking swollen right now.
You know what I mean? I do got big shoulders. They not all the way in the frame because they wouldn't fit. They that big. I'm talking shit. But nah, so let's start
Well, you should show everybody your new shirt.
You know we in the middle of a show.
Okay.
And that don't have shit to do with anything that we doing right now.
Uh-huh.
This shirt.
Okay.
Did you know that? Yo, let's go one by one through the diets and talk about these joints.
Okay.
So first we had Whole30. What is Whole30?
Okay. So Whole30 is it's fairly new. I think it's been around for a couple years. I've had quite a few friends that have tried it or done it. And basically, the gist of it is you eat veggies, meat, and any type of potato. You cannot have any sugar. You cannot have any legumes. So that means no peanuts, no peas, no corn,
Damn.
soy,
It's a lot of
no
stuff.
artificial sweeteners either. And you can't have any wheat products, grain products. So that includes any type of bread or packaged food, and any kind of rice or oatmeal. Can't have any of that. So again, potatoes, veggies, and no beans either, and any type of meat for the most part that you want. But you got to be careful with the meats, because any type of processed meat like bacon or sausage, or any other type of packaged meat can have other preservatives in it. And a lot of times those preservatives, or they're cured with certain things that include sugar and that includes soy often. A lot of reading labels involved.
That was really scientific.
Yeah.
Can you get us the layman terms? So basically, what were they trying to get you to avoid? What's the purpose of Whole30?
So the whole thing with Whole30, they market it as a plan that's not a weight loss plan. But let's be honest here. Everybody's doing these types of things to lose weight. Like, you can rack it in your brain however you want to rack it and be like, oh, I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm just trying to cleanse my body of certain toxins. And that's kind of how Whole30 markets it, which is not a bad thing. It's kind of a good way to figure out what your body may have an inflammatory response to. So like that bloating you get after you eat certain foods, like let's say, okay, so you can't have dairy. I forgot to mention that one.
Right.
You can't have dairy. And no, you may not be lactose intolerant. You may not get gassy or anything like that, but your body could have an inflammatory response to it. But you have no idea that you don't, because you've been having dairy your whole life.
Right.
So you kind of go through this 30 days, kind of reintroduce certain things.
Right.
And see if it gives you tootie booty or not.
You just said tootie booty.
Tootie booty.
On the podcast.
I did.
Wow, that's great.
I did.
That's good content. Yeah, so it's almost like sounds like if you go to the doctor and to do an allergy test, that don't hit that mic. Hey, don't hit that microphone.
I'm sorry.
Sounds like that if you was to go to the doctor and they would give you like an allergy test or like a bowel test where they take everything out, slowly start implementing things back in. It sounds like they give you the most common things that will not necessarily harm, but have your body react to in a negative way, which is cool.
Yeah.
In terms of Whole30, that shit was whack.
It's tough.
That shit was buns.
That part is, it's very tough.
That shit was whack for me.
I was never hungry though.
Yeah, but that was whack. That was whack. You couldn't eat. It to me.
No alcohol either.
Yeah, no alcohol. But anytime you're dieting, you shouldn't be eating or drinking alcohol anyway. But it was just hard for me because there were so many restrictions. Like, it was so restrictive, but at the same time, you could eat as much bacon as you want to. So for me, it was weird because it was like, well, clearly some of these foods in mass amounts are going to be unhealthy. So it's tough for me to understand that one, or to even find that enjoyable. That's something that literally is a challenge. Like, you do that for 30 days and you don't want to do that again. That's something that I probably couldn't see or wouldn't want you to do consistently, because that would be annoying.
No.
So what was that was my camera check neck. You like that? That's what
You swung it around like a giraffe.
Come on, yo, don't I'm like, it's long, but like,
Are you good over there?
yeah, it's cracking a little bit. It's a little stiff. I'm trying to like sit up straight, you know what I mean? We need better chairs.
Yeah.
My booty is. Anyway, so Whole30. And then from Whole30, you went to keto.
That's a very...
Don't get all scientific on me, please. Just layman terms.
Okay. You didn't even let me
be
start.
In a ketogenic state of fat and... No, just layman's.
And you want to sit here and tell me that you don't get the same way when you're talking about music and mixing and mastering and making beats?
We're not talking about music right now. We're talking about keto. You have the floor.
I'm a keto your ass later.
That don't even make sense. Tell me about
I'm
keto.
gonna take some meat and slap you across the booty.
Tell me
That sounded so
about
bad.
yes. Pause. Pause all that shit. You gonna take some meat and slap it across my ass? Pause.
That sounded so bad. I didn't think about it before I said it.
Pause all that shit. I'm telling Chad.
All right, well, I'm pressing play now. Okay,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Keto. For those who don't know what keto is, or the ketogenic diet or nutritional plan, basically it's no carbs. And usually the ratio is like 75% fat, 15 to 20% protein, and 5% to 10% of carbohydrates. So
Good carbs though,
yes,
if you can.
but you normally get those carbohydrates from the veggies that you're eating. So you're not actually consuming anything that's considered like a complex carbohydrate or something.
You're doing the thing.
I'm sorry.
Just agree. Good
Okay.
carbs, like vegetables. Like they wouldn't suggest you eat
It's not, no,
a
you
bacon
don't.
sandwich.
No, you don't want to eat any bread or potatoes or rice or
Right.
oatmeal or crackers, cookies, sugar, candy, that sort of thing.
Right.
You can have dairy, but you want to have full fat dairy. So nothing that's low fat or anything, because often low fat stuff has added sugar to it. So that means it's going to have more carbs. So that's what you're kind of centering everything around. Like I couldn't go over like 30 grams of carbohydrates. It was actually kind of tough because I wanted to supplement a lot with like green vegetables. And I tried to choose what vegetables had the lowest amount of carbs and something that's called net carbs. Basically, that's the...
You're doing the thing.
I know, but people will understand this. That's the total amount of carbs minus the amount of grams of fiber equals your net carbs.
Going all over the top of people's heads, but net carbs.
Hey, that's what questions are for in the comment box.
No, I got you. So it's a thing where you subtract like the fiber from the actual carbs, because fiber
From the total carbs.
Your body doesn't actually digest fibers. It's what makes your poops good.
Yeah.
So it just comes straight out. Come out your butt.
Oh, man. And that's another thing on keto. You might get constipated.
A little constipated?
Yeah.
It's a lot of dairy, though. I see a lot of recipes that call for like...
There is. But I'm pretty sensitive to dairy. My body doesn't really process it the way that it should, I guess, or that some people do. So I honestly tried to stay away from dairy. I did have some, but when I did, like it wasn't good.
Yeah.
So I mostly stuck to veggies and meats. You don't have to watch out for a lot of the stuff that you do on Whole30, minus maybe like the sugar, but you can have artificial sweeteners. So that was kind of nice to be able to sweeten my food a little bit. And the main things you want to focus on with keto, make sure you're hitting your fat content. A lot of people will, they'll go no carbs and they'll feel like crap simply because A, they're not getting enough calories, B, they're not getting enough grams of fat. So where the hell do you expect your body to get energy from if you're not getting those grams of fat in? Like I was eating like 160 to like 200 grams of fat a day.
It's a lot of fat.
Which is a lot, but I was staying within my calories. And I don't know, it's weird. I had a couple days where I was a little lethargic and I got nauseous. But those were on days where I probably didn't eat enough fat like I should have.
You're also very sleepy. Very, very sleepy.
I was sleepy. So caffeine helps. Like if you do keto for I did it for 3 weeks. I do think that I entered a state of what's called ketosis. It's really scientific. I'm not
like
going to go.
Really bad
It
toe
is,
fungus.
but that's what it's called.
That sounds like a really bad toe fungus.
A
That
toe
is not,
fungus?
Yeah, ketosis. It's like when your toes turn black. That's what that sound like. My toes is black.
Well, it's because you are black.
Almost forgot.
You got nice feet, though.
Thanks, yo. But so ketosis, my bad.
Okay. So
Go
that means
ahead.
your body starts running off of ketones. And the idea is when you start running off ketones, that your body just starts using up your fat storage and your liver produces it into energy,
So-
basically.
Your body runs off ketones, not Keystone beer, okay? Ketones, not Keystones.
Oh my God.
Because you might have people, because you don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody might be like, yo, I can get in a ketosis state right here, one of them ketogenic states with this Keystone and get to throwing them boys back, but that's all carbs.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So from my perspective, this diet was also whack. One of the reasons being the fact that your energy was mad low, which we talked about. You were always super sleepy. I mean, on your good days, you were good, but the transition into that ketogenic?
There's a grace period.
Yeah. So
And you have to push through it.
you weren't really like working out. You couldn't really do anything because your body was all weird.
And actually, I didn't want to work out because I felt I needed to get my body used to that process without challenging. And actually, if you read and do more research on keto, that's what's suggested to do. You're not supposed to be doing super hard workouts. Maybe some steady state cardio, so like walking on a treadmill or some biking or that sort of thing. But you don't want to go do like super heavy lifts and high intensity interval training.
Right.
When you first start out. Once you get your body used to it, then you can try to incorporate those things in, but you got to it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think personally, I think you did them in the order in which that I wouldn't want to do them. So Whole 30
there was a reason that I
like,
did in that order, though.
Well, yeah, but Whole 30 was like the most tolerable. Keto was better in certain aspects, worse on better in the food aspects, but worse on the personal level. And then, as you went through, it got worse.
Yeah.
But, again, more things that I noticed were the you get keto breath, I call it, or the keto
That did
burps.
happen.
And
That did happen.
only other thing I didn't like about it, I guess it's really hard to avoid carbs. Like it's really hard to when you really think about it, like finesse a meal. You can't really eat on the go. You really got to have a game plan. Took us like 15, 30 minutes to decide if we were going to eat somewhere. So
Yeah.
that kind of thing was kind of whack.
Well, things that I like, the biggest tips that people got to look out for keto, and then we'll move on to the next one. Make sure you're getting enough calories. Make sure you're getting enough fat. And there's a way to calculate it. If you need help, let me know. Making sure that you're getting enough micronutrients. So a way that I would make sure that I got all my vitamins in is I did take a multivitamin and I ate lots of green vegetables. And to get all those minerals in, Himalayan sea salt to salt your food is really good to use because it has a lot of good solid minerals in it. And drink lots and lots of water. And you want to make sure that your electrolytes stay up. And it's, if you don't do it right, you will pay for it. And you could end up hurting yourself. It's not something that you can just go into lightly.
You can get real fat doing it too. You'll swole up if you don't know what you're doing. I had to take a sip of water right there. That was thirsty.
All right.
So
what's next?
moving right to the next one. I'm going to put these next two together. Put your foot down. Get your foot out the gear.
It's not in the gear.
She's trying to play toesies with me while we're recording this. This is what it's like to be in a relationship. The next two I'm going to wrap together. You went then pescatarian, then
Yep.
vegetarian. So you kind of switched gears from eating all meats to going into a diet where you ate mostly vegetables. And for the pescatarian side, you ate fish. Then when vegetarian came along, you cut out all the fish.
Yeah.
But you were allowed to eat eggs. So you had a lot of rice and eggs.
Love eggs.
You cheated. You did not go vegetarian. You ate rice and eggs that whole
Okay.
time.
So let's go over this first. There's a lot of different forms of vegetarianism. Okay. So pescatarian was just kind of like a stepping stone into vegetarian. Vegetarian was really a stepping stone too, because I didn't want to go straight vegan after doing keto. I just didn't think it was a good idea. And I can kind of see the benefit of slowly cutting things out. So moving to pescatarian, I cut out all, I guess, land animal meats for the most part. I had eggs and fish, veggies, legumes, beans, nuts, everything pretty much. And at that point, I could have sugar again. And then vegetarian, the most popular form of vegetarianism is what's called lacto-ovo-vegetarian. So that means you can have dairy and you can have eggs. And because that was the most popular one,
Yep.
that is the one that I wanted to do because I knew going into vegan, I had to cut out all animal products. So I was like, all right, well, let me do it this way. Again, don't have a lot of dairy. Just because it bothers my stomach, just is not fun.
Nope.
And
anybody involved.
No.
Specifically me.
No. Which, they were kind of like, I could survive on those because I love eggs. I eat a lot of eggs. I ate a lot of eggs throughout the entire thing. And vegan was interesting. I don't think it was necessarily hard eating that way. There's a lot of options, and it really forced me to do some research on plant-based protein sources.
Yeah.
So nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, even rice and quinoa have some protein in them. But I found that the first few days, my stomach was a mess. Like, I was eating a lot of beans and rice, and so that's a ton of fiber. Ooh.
Blew the toilet up a couple times.
Yeah. Let's be honest.
You blew
Like,
that boy
it
up.
just,
Yeah.
after a week or so, I kind of figured out like how much my stomach could handle in terms of beans and stuff like that. But before I figured that out, like I ate so many beans in those first couple of days because I made a 3-bean chili.
Yeah.
And it just like, oh man, I was uncomfortable.
You remember the dried mangoes, son? Yeah, you forgot.
I forgot about
Some
that.
dried ass mangoes, boy.
Oh man, yeah, a whole 30. I was eating dry mangoes, and those did some special things to me too.
Hey, I'm gonna give him the real. You woke up in the middle of the night and was complaining like my stomach hurt. It hurt real bad.
They were so good.
And then I was like, what have you been eating? I haven't eaten anything. I had the dried mangoes. I said, well, how many did you have? The whole bag. Yo, I go downstairs, look on the back of the bag, like a fourth of a cup had like 10 to 20% of your daily fiber. You had to doo-doo real bad, son. And you got up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and doo-doo. That shit was hilarious.
Especially haven't done the sound effect yet. They normally do.
What sound effect?
I can't do it.
Okay, well, I don't know it. No, I'm not going to do it. That's Chad. I'm going to leave that to Chad. I'm not going to do that on this. But your stomach was blew up from them dried mangoes.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. Look, here's my advice. And this is unprofessional advice because I'm not a athletic trainer, nutritionalist, none of that. Count your fiber because you got to be careful what you eating. You put 3 kind of beans in that chili. You could have got away with 1. And then you eat because it's vegetables, you have to eat so much to feel full, which is dope about being vegetarian and vegan. You can eat mass amounts of food.
Yeah, so typically your
stuff your face.
micronutrients is your levels are good when it comes to that.
Yeah.
It's not impossible to get enough protein, but it certainly is a lot harder when you have foods where you have to eat this much food for 20 grams of protein versus if you're able to eat meats, you have to eat that much food to get 20 grams of protein.
Right.
So it's hard because you're fuller.
Right.
And you can still eat like shit on vegan too. Like don't get it in your head that in order to have a healthy lifestyle, you have to go to a plant-based diet, which everyone should be eating more vegetables. I think that's a common thing.
Right.
But you can eat really well and really healthy having a wide variety of foods. And then a lot of people, like I did kind of put out some feelers out there on Facebook and things like that to see if any of my friends who are vegan or vegetarian, like why they decided to do it. And most of them, it was for ethical reasons.
Yeah.
Animal abuse.
Right.
That sort of thing, which I think that, you know, if you are concerned with that, but you don't want to go vegan, like there are, I guess, more ethically sourced animal meats, and you should be eating high quality meat in general, but that's a whole nother thing to get into.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of research behind it. So, but yeah, vegan was interesting. But I do have athletes that choose to eat that way. So if there's ways that I can help them try to figure out and gain weight doing that in a good way, then I try to help them with that. So, yeah.
I will say from the commoner's perspective that in terms of energy levels and your mood during all this was probably the best of it. But on the other hand, more restricted, a lot more restrictions, the most restrictions, a lot more label reading, a lot more prepping into meals, and definitely mad tootie booty. So definitely not my favorites, but I enjoyed your energy levels and how you felt. Like you felt better.
Yeah.
And kind of moved a little bit better.
So, and I think like minus the cramping in my stomach and things like that, like I wasn't eating any dairy, so I felt good because of that. I found throughout this whole thing, like the things that my body responds negatively to, and that could be things or symptoms involving water retention, inflammation, cramping in my stomach, gas, diarrhea, and fatigue, things like that. My body responded negatively.
Why did you say that shit like that? Diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Okay, sorry.
My body responded negatively to sugar, wheat. Although I do not have celiac disease. I'm not going to sit here and say that because I can have some, but I can't have a lot.
Continue the list.
Well, people get sensitive about stuff.
Wheat.
What's
the next one?
Dairy. And that's pretty much it. That's all my body really had.
You said dairy twice, didn't you?
Did
dairy,
I?
Wheat.
Sugar.
Oh, sugar, dairy, wheat.
Wheat, dairy.
Okay.
I don't respond the best to those things. Does that mean that I'm going to avoid those things completely? No.
Right.
But 80% of the time, I do try to. And I certainly feel a lot better when I do. But not everybody's like that. So if you were to try something like this or to kind of figure out something that works for you, it takes some time. It takes a lot of time. So.
Okay. Cool. Real quick.
Yeah.
Can you give me your favorite dish from each of those diets? So what was your favorite Whole30? What was it that you made with the nutritional yeast? What are you making? Spinach and artichoke?
Yeah. I made, so nutritional yeast kind of has like a cheesy flavor to it. I want people to know why I used it. And I made these double-baked potato skins. Spinach and artichoke potato skins. They were really good. They were really good.
It was pretty.
Keto, I probably enjoyed. Bacon. For that, I made like this keto fried chicken. So it was chicken.
I do remember that.
Fried with almond flour and different seasonings and spices in the flour itself and nuts. That was really good.
Give me none of it. So.
You allergic to chicken?
I know, but you still could have gave me some.
Yeah, then you would have been on the toilet.
No, why do everybody say that? Chicken don't give me duty booty.
Well, it gives you bad cramps.
It's not even bad cramps. It's excruciating pain.
Okay.
When I eat it in my stomach.
Yeah.
It's not gas. I don't get the burps, get the tooting and stuff. I don't get to doing none of that.
Okay.
It's mad painful to digest. I feel like I'm 70 years old when I'm digesting it. Or like I swallowed rocks.
I know.
So I can't have chicken or turkey. But continue.
Or any poultry.
So the chicken was your favorite.
The chicken was my favorite.
What about pescatarian? You didn't even really eat no fish. No, you did some fish. You cooked some salmon.
I cooked some white fish. I think it was cod.
Okay.
And I cooked it in the same way that I cooked the chicken.
Yeah.
The time that I had it. I don't know. Pescatarian, I really didn't make anything complicated.
Just eggs and rice.
I ate a lot of eggs and rice. I love eggs and rice. I eat that for breakfast a lot.
Weird motherfucker, you. I just want to have eggs and rice, and I just want to bust the yolks of the eggs, let it run into the rice, mix it up, and just eat it.
It's so good. I don't know why.
Gross,
it's so good.
That shit is gross.
It's so good.
Sorry, that shit nasty.
And it's quick. Yeah, so pescatarian was kind of Vegetarian. Well, for vegetarian and vegan, I ate a lot of that tomato soup. Was really good.
Just the tomato soup.
Yeah. And for vegan too, that 3-bean chili I made was really good. It was very good.
The tomato soup is good because if you guys are interested in it, maybe comment below and I can post a link to the recipe. But it's basically you take all the vegetables, celery, carrots, tomatoes, and you just cook it down with some garlic, some onion, and then you put the broth in there, let it all cook together, and then you just blend it.
And you use a potatoes to thicken it up versus using like flour.
Right.
So it keeps it it's really hearty, really filling,
super hearty,
really nutritious too.
You'd be surprised how much you like it. It sounds like a vegetable, like smoothie, but it's not.
It's so good.
It's really good.
You just got to season it right.
And I got you hip to that when we first started dating.
You did. That was your recipe.
Yep. I'm cool.
Favorite snacks?
But favorite snacks? You don't have to go through snacks. I just want to know what your favorite foods were.
Yeah.
We already know what your favorite snack was. It was the mangoes, the dried mangoes.
The mangoes. Oh, a lot of people are probably going to wonder or ask like weight loss and measurements and things like that.
Nope.
No, you don't want to talk about that?
Nope.
Okay.
Nah. Don't put your business all out there like that.
Well, people are going to want to know. It's a common question.
You didn't do this to lose weight, though, remember?
No, I didn't.
That's not what it was for.
No, I didn't.
It was trying different diets and stuff like that. But ultimately, your weight didn't change as much as your measurements did. Your measurements changed a lot more drastically. Mm-hmm. And it changed at certain points.
Yeah.
But again, it's up to your body.
Right. And it's hard to determine what's water weight and what's not. Yeah. Especially in those early stages.
If you just get drunk the night before, all that water will be gone because it's a diuretic. Science. What? It'll make you dehydrated so you don't have no water. It's not a good method. Okay, it's not a good method. All right. You right. You the expert. All right. Let's end this podcast.
Okay.
My booty hurt. My booty cheeks. They hurt.